What's up, y'all? Solar here. Hope your day is going very, very well. Today's video, building off of the one we had last week, which was essentially 5 steps that everyone has to do that are guaranteed to melt off fat. By the way, if you haven't watched that video, I'll put a link in the description below or up there, wherever. Extremely valuable information in it. 5 steps that, like I said, everyone needs to be taking to lose fat, so go check it out. Now, in this week's video, we're going to discuss certain strategies to actually apply those steps in the most enjoyable and simple and easy manner so that you guys can lose fat effortlessly and keep it off for the rest of your life. No more losing 5 or 10 pounds for New Year's and then putting it right back on. What I'm going to teach you in today's video is going to hold true to the rest of your life, and you're going to lose that fat and keep it off forever. In order to melt off fat as quickly and sustainably as possible, it really comes down to implementing certain strategies that make eating at a deficit super easy to adhere to. You really just have to find the easiest way to eat less food. No bullshit, plain and simple, that's all it really comes down to. This does not start with a diet. A diet implies some sort of dietary restriction. Limiting the foods that you eat makes the very concept of a diet unsustainable and probably unenjoyable. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like limiting the foods that I eat. I like to eat whatever I want. And that's honestly why I've been able to melt off fat over the past couple years, is because I structure my diet in a way where I'm eating the foods I like. I don't have to sacrifice anything. I don't have to use any willpower. I want you guys to remember this is a lifestyle. So you don't have to sacrifice the foods you love. You don't have to use all this willpower to stop eating the foods you love. You just need to find how many calories are in the foods that you love to eat and eat most frequently, and then just structure them into your daily intake. It is really that simple. So the first 2 tips are going to address tracking your calories, which, like I said last video, is probably the thing that most of you guys are gonna mess up on or just not do daily because it's boring and redundant and no one likes to do it. But like I said, golden rule of fat loss comes down to being in a calorie deficit, and at the end of the day, you have no idea if you're in a deficit if you're not tracking those foods. So these first 2 tips are just gonna make your tracking automatic to the point where you don't have to worry about it. Makes things super simple, and easier tracking essentially leads to easier fat loss. So the first tip that is super simple yet super effective in making your tracking a breeze is to gravitate towards 6 to 10 core meals that you love eating or you eat most frequently. This minor simplification is going to make tracking automatic. I want you to pick out 4 to 6 of your favorite snacks and then 4 to 6 of your favorite meals or dishes or whatever you want to call it. And I want you to identify how many calories are in each one of those servings. All you have to do from that point is just factor those calories into your daily intake and structure your calories around the foods you like. Rotating between these meals all throughout the week is going to make it a lot easier and a lot more simple to track your foods. And on top of that, you're gonna become a lot more familiarized with the nutrition info of the foods that you're eating most often. So in the long term, you're not gonna constantly have to weigh out your foods and scale them out and go track them on MyFitnessPal. That's so annoying and redundant. And like I said, fitness isn't supposed to take away from your lifestyle. It's always supposed to elevate it. And if you're constantly weighing everything out and freaking out about 5 calories that you had in some buffalo sauce, you're not gonna be enjoying your life. So don't do that. Make it simple. Find the foods that you love, peep how many calories they have, and just factor them into your daily intake. It's really simple when you think about it like that, and it's so sustainable because you're still gonna be eating the foods that you love, but you're gonna be melting off fat like it's no one's business. For example, Mama Porky makes a mean pan-fried chicken. By the way, my last name is Porkalily, which is way too complicated, so we say Porky. Mama Porky makes a mean pan-fried chicken sandwich. And I eat it a lot, like very, very frequently. And I know that in one chicken breast that she cooks, it has about 400 calories. The bun has 250, cheese has 100. Essentially, every time I'm eating this sandwich, I know that I'm getting 750 calories with around 45 to 50 grams of protein. Every single time, that's automatic. It's so simple because for dinner, I'll just have 2 of those, 1,500 calories, 90 to 100 grams of protein, boom. I didn't have to do any math. I didn't have to weigh anything out. I didn't have to log anything. I know exactly what I love to eat, and I familiarize myself with that nutrition info so that I don't have to worry about tracking, and I'm just making this entire process a lot easier for myself. The best diet or nutritional structure, whatever you want to call it, is the one that is easiest to stick to. And if your tracking is hard, you're less likely to stick to your diet. Identifying these foundational meals along with how many calories and how many grams of protein they have is going to facilitate the living hell out of tracking and therefore make fat loss a lot easier. Another little pro tip that makes the entire tracking process so much easier is predetermining your calories for 1 to 2 of your meals. So for example, I eat about 3 meals a day. One smaller one, I have an absolute feast for dinner, and then I have a little dessert or treat later on to satisfy my sweet tooth so that I'm not craving anything and dropping the fat is a lot easier since I'm not sacrificing anything. I'm not telling you guys to eat the same food for your first meal every single day or the same food before you go to bed every single night. What I want you to do is pick a couple meals that have X amount of calories for both your first meal and your last meal. So for example, for me, I know my first meal is always gonna have 500 calories. Whether it's a smoothie that I make or a breakfast sandwich or French toast, every single time, 500 calories. And then my late night treat or dessert that I have always has around 300 to 400 calories. Usually it's a chocolate bar or Halo Top. I'm huge on the Halo Top. It's low-key a cheat code. I don't know how they make it, but anyways, every morning when I wake up, I know that I'm gonna have 500 calories for lunch and 300 for my late night dessert. So essentially every single morning I wake up and I know that I'm getting 800 calories and I know exactly where those 800 calories are coming from. Let's say I have to hit 2,400 calories for the day. If I wake up every single morning instantly knowing where 800 of those calories are gonna come from, all I have to do is ballpark 1,600 for my dinner, which is my big ass feast. And honestly, that's really not that hard to do. Once you predetermine those calories for the first and last meal, tracking is going to be so much easier. You're tracking less food, you're tracking less frequently, you're not worrying about it nearly as much. You wake up every single morning trusting the process because you know exactly how many calories you're gonna eat for lunch. You know exactly how many calories you're getting right before you go to bed. So really, all you have to do is just track for one meal. This little tip is a cheat code when it comes to tracking. And like I said, if your tracking is easier, then losing fat is also gonna be a lot easier. So definitely implement this one. Like I said, it's gonna make it super simple. And since I want you guys to be happy and lose weight while being happy, I want you guys to dedicate 20% of your daily calories for some dessert or some treat. It literally does not matter what the fuck the food is. It can be anything. It could be Ben & Jerry's, it could be Kit Kat, it could be a chocolate bar, it could be M&M's. As long as it fits within that 20% of your calories, it's completely fine. This is going to make it so much easier to stick to your calories. If you constantly have a craving every single day and you're stopping yourself from indulging, the amount of willpower that it's gonna take, the amount of focus and energy just to not eat that one simple food is honestly not worth it at all. Allow yourself some room, allow yourself some enjoyment, and like I said, find the foods that you like to eat and structure them into your daily intake. I love eating ice cream, so I literally have an entire pint of Halo Top every damn night before I go to bed. And I'm not worried about it because I want something cold, I want something delicious, something creamy, and Halo Top does it for me. And it has 20 grams of protein. It's a cheat code. I don't know how they do it. Literally don't know how they do it, but not complaining, shit tastes awesome. Dedicating 20% of your calories to a little snack or a little dessert to satisfy that craving is going to make the mental game so much easier. You're not gonna have to resist any cravings. You're not gonna have to use all this willpower. You are literally eating exactly what you want to eat and losing weight. It's gonna feel like you're cheating. At the end of the day, if you have to hit 2,000 calories, 20% of that, 400. If you eat 400 calories worth of ice cream, it's not gonna make or break your results whatsoever. It's gonna make it 10 times easier to get those results because the whole process is made so much easier. You don't have to pour that mental energy into not eating the foods you love. Saving a little bit of room at the end of the night for dessert is an insanely effective strategy that's gonna make sticking to that deficit effortless. Next tip on how to fall in love with the process of losing fat is picking foods with the greatest fullness factor. A lot of people think that if you're hitting that deficit, you're gonna lose weight. That's a scientific fact, that's completely true. But it's gonna be a lot harder if you're eating at that deficit and you're never ever full and all you wanna do is keep eating. So the first thing that I recommend is don't drink any of your calories. Liquid calories are infinitely less filling than real food. If you're getting all your calories from sodas or macchiatos or cappuccinos or whatever other Italian Starbucks drinks that there are, adhering to that deficit is going to be way, way harder because you're never gonna be full. You're never gonna be satisfied. So it's really important to pick wholesome foods that actually fill you up. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient between carbs and fats and protein. Protein comes out on top. So I definitely recommend eating leaner cuts of meat, a lot of chicken, and just being calorie conscious. For example, one New York strip steak, 1 pound of it has 800 calories. A pound of ribeye has 1,300 calories. So essentially for 300 more calories, I could eat 2 steaks instead of 1. Being a little calorie conscious literally enables me to eat an entire other steak with just 300 more calories. Definitely recommend stocking up on your protein no matter what the source is. A lot of vegetables and fruits even are pretty low calorie but have a lot of volume. What I mean by this is you can eat like 3 pounds of broccoli and it's like 20 calories. So you can really fill up on a lot of vegetables and they will keep you full, but they're never ever gonna have any calories in them. This is known as volume eating. So all the space in your stomach is gonna be taken up by food that has maybe 50 calories. So that's also something that I recommend that's super effective. And finally, natural fats are super satiating. They keep you full for longer. For example, I've always noticed that if I never get guacamole on my Chipotle bowl, which is the biggest tweak move, always get guac, their guac is fuego, I will get full a lot sooner than if I did get the guac. The guac keeps me full. Those healthy natural fats keep me satiated for longer. Obviously, I don't recommend overindulging on the fat, but if you are going to get fat, I recommend from more wholesome and natural sources just because they're going to do more for you and keep you full longer, which in turn is going to make dieting and losing fat a lot easier. By manipulating the fullness factor of protein and the volume eating of carbs and that longer satiation that's provided from natural fats, if you manipulate all of these different factors, then dieting and losing fat is going to be so much easier than if you're drinking all your calories or if you're not structuring it in a smart way. I always say work smart, not hard, and this little tip epitomizes that. You're going to be picking foods that keep you full longer and that are going to make it a lot less likely for you to want to overeat. Like I said, it all comes down to finding the easiest way to stick to your deficit. And if you're constantly full, then it's going to be a lot easier to hit that deficit. So last tip to fall in love with losing fat is eat less frequently. By that I mean eat 2 to 3 meals a day versus 5 to 6. Calculating your calories for the day and actually sticking to your deficit is going to be a nightmare if you're eating 5 to 6 meals spaced out throughout the day. I want to put it into perspective for you guys real quick. Let's say you have 2,000 calories to eat and you space it out all throughout the day between 5 meals. That means you're only going to be allotted 400 calories per meal on average. Large fries from McDonald's, 510 calories. You see what I mean? If you're eating more frequently and spacing it out throughout the day, it's a lot less likely that you're actually going to be foods that you enjoy eating and that satisfy you and fill you up. So that's why I really recommend eating 2 to 3 times a day, because you're not going to be tracking as frequently and you're not going to be tracking as many different foods. So there's a lot less variation in what you're eating. And on top of that, if you partition your calories between 2 to 3 meals, you have a lot more calories for those meals. This is what I'm trying to get at when I say make it as easy as possible for yourself. Eat the foods you love. I am cutting right now, trying to lose some fat. So I'm eating around 23 to 2,400 calories every single day. I have about 450 in my smoothie in the morning and then 350 for my Halo Top. So that's around 700. If I'm supposed to hit 2,400 calories for the day and I already ate 700, I have 1,700 calories for my dinner. And you can ask any one of my friends, I eat literally more than anyone they know. I go to Chipotle for dinner and get 2 double meat bowls. I get chicken and steak and then steak and barbacoa, 2 separate bowls. And I eat it all because it's in my calories. I can't. And when I'm done eating it, I'm so damn full, so damn satisfied. I just ate a killer meal that I absolutely loved eating, and I'm still losing fat. This is a cheat code, man. You need to find the way to make it as easy as possible, right? The easiest way from point A to point B is in a straight line, no shit. Now, obviously, there are going to be hurdles and obstacles that are in your way, but what I'm trying to do for you guys is make that line as straight as possible so you can get to that goal as fast as possible and enjoyably as possible. Now, this segues into the most important nutritional tool that I have discovered and implemented myself, which has let me drop fat whenever I wanted all throughout high school, over the past 5 years actually, and that tool is intermittent fasting. I'm sure all of you guys are aware of it, but it is such a hefty topic with so many benefits and so many reasons as to why you guys should be doing it. I'm gonna make another video next week addressing everything about fasting, in-depth detail, why it's beneficial, why you guys should be doing it. But at the end of the day, it warrants flexibility in your diet. If you're only eating 2 meals a day, you're probably gonna eat food that you freaking love eating. If you're eating 5 meals a day, you're going to be miserable because you're not gonna be full and you're gonna be eating a lot of clean foods that really aren't delicious or tasty or satisfying. And there you have it, people. Exactly how to apply the 5 steps from last week's video in the most enjoyable and effortless manner to accommodate your lifestyle. So if you want to fall in love with losing fat, start implementing these strategies. Like I said, it's worked for me, it's worked for all my friends that I've been working with, and I know for a fact it's gonna work for you guys. This video, in conjunction with the last one I made, put those bad boys together. They're gonna make a baby, and that baby is gonna be you getting ripped, eating the foods that you love. Losing fat and looking great and feeling great has never been so easy. And again, I'm a living testament to this. This video went over exactly what I do to get this body and how I do it. So definitely start implementing these, and I promise you guys, y'all are gonna see some crazy ass results. So tune in next week for the video on intermittent fasting, and that video is going to show you how it can make dieting even easier.